What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are traditional fans with opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Black Butler, Season 5, Episode 13, and full season. So in this one, Sebastian trains Sieglin with I guess, with manners, how to be a proper lady. And I guess the short hair was not part of the plan. And so basically, so, like Sieglin was never taught proper manners, and she like, man, it's just more restrictive than the forest. So like basically, like Sebastian is like just basically he's like, no, he's like, you gotta learn how to eat properly. And I guess she can't ask for seconds. She can't slurp, I guess, the soup. She can't just reach like without like she has to know how to use, I guess, silverware and all that, and she can't like make recommendations on what to eat the next day if she's a guest. And she has to learn how to curtsy, which is a little difficult given her fact that she can't use her legs. And so she gets really, and I guess how she talks, you know. So like basically Sebastian props her mouth open with something, I guess, so she can see how her tongue moves when she speaks. But she's not able to talk well. I mean, she can't doesn't speak a lot of English, so it's kind of is a learning curve. And so what's funny is like, so she gets mad, runs towards Seal, and so like, I can't take this guy. Basically, she's like, well, she has like her crutches, so she can't necessarily walk per se. And like Seal's like annoyed, and then like one point, Seaglin asks like Seal, like Seal's like, what? He's basically just being very cold about it, and Seaglin's like, are your is your does ice run your veins? And Seal's like, just blood. Like it's just the whole thing is just freaking hilarious. And then like I guess one of like Seal or Seal like trying to like get like basically yell at him about Sebastian. I guess she falls, drags Seal down with her, and Seal I guess lands on top of her. And then Elizabeth walks in right as it happened, right that scene Seal on top of Siegeland, and she's like, "Is this the business that brought you to Germany?" And she like misunderstands the situation very completely. She starts trying to like kick Seal because she is trained in combat, so she could probably kill Seal very easily without Sebastian's interference. So Sebastian blocks her kick, and then they explain it. So Elizabeth, oh, I'm sorry, I just misunderstand. She just laughs off the whole thing, and Seal's thinking, I felt less terror facing that tank. I get this way. So Elizabeth suggests that like basically they all learn it together so that Seal can have some fun with it. So Seal has to go through it because he had trained it when he had to cross dress for that one investigation back in the first season. And then basically, yeah, so Seal takes Siegel and Wolfram to meet Queen Victoria, and while Sebastian, I guess, takes the sullen gas into the bottom of the ocean to hide it forever. And then and then what happens is so and so Sieglin tells Victoria that about mustard gas, how to make it. She doesn't mention the Solon. Like Seal says, do not mention the Solon at all. You won't things will not go well if you do. But use this mustard gas as a way to negotiate stuff for her. Because I mean, she wants to make because Siegel wants to make medicine. She wants to make a cure for stuff. So yeah, I mean, which is I guess fine with Victoria. Now Victoria still has the whole thing where she has to talk to a puppet of her late husband Albert, And Seal tells like Seagull, it's like this every time. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I thought this was a very good episode. It was freaking hilarious. Just see Sieglin, just her reaction, everything, like the facial expressions were just funny. And then once Elizabeth gets involved, like Seal is like, dang it. And he's like crap. Like it is just funny. And so yeah, one that happens late is like so Seal, I guess while he's sleeping, who knows? It's not no. It's just whether or not it's a dream or whether or not it was real life. So Undertaker like approaches Seal's bed, pours something in his mouth, and then Seal then wakes up, grabs Sebastian's arm, and he's like, Sebastian tells him he was tossing and turning, and then he came to the room to wake him. So then Seal tells him that's nothing, and then what happens later is so Seal's in his office. Sebastian brings him a letter from the Queen, and that's it. And that's supposed to set up the Blue Cult. So yeah, so one thing that I thought, so I know a little bit of the manga. Couldn't necessarily remember how the events were ordered as far as a certain spoiler for the Blue Cold arc. So what I was thinking was going to happen in this end of this arc is actually get the end of the Blue Cold arc. So that will be season 6 or 7. A certain spoiler that is sort of referenced during Seal's dream sequences during this arc, regarding his dream where he's talking to like himself, or is he talking to himself? And with what Undertaker's comments about the other Earl. So I'm not gonna get into spoilers, but it's a very big spoiler. Let's just say they're starting to set something like that up in season 4 with one character's comments to Seal, and then with some of the dream sequences in this season, like next season, if they do adapt that part in the end, if they make a season 6 and do Blue Cold arc, which they should, I hope so. From what I know, Blue Cold arc I know is the next one. So it's what happens. Um, so yeah, they show the beginning of the Blue Cold arc in this episode. Just beginning first few I guess chapters of it lead into like what's gonna happen next. So yeah, I really like this episode. This whole season was very good, and I want there to be a season 6. I want a 6th season. So yeah, I want a 6th season, like, I want them to adapt the entire manga. Like I wanted to adapt the entire manga. Like I want this to happen. I'm hoping for season 6. I don't think there's been an announcement yet. Like I don't think it's an announcement. It's been announced yet, but it will be. But I think I want to see in 6. This was a very good show, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I thought this was very good. Looking for and if there's season 6, I will look forward to it. Yaiba Samurai Legend episode 13. So in this one, Yaiba's group they're searching for the dragon orb, and they come across this like basically the ocean, and basically they're where they believe it's at. And Yaiba asks this owl. where it's at, and he's told it's in the water. So he goes in the water, can't find it. Feel gets like a brief cold from it, and then Onimaru sends like this guy named he sends Mr. Spider, and sends like this guy named it's like Kyoto, um, well Neodo, yeah Neodo or something, and then like basically like he fights this giant octopus that's protecting this this way he thinks is a dragon orb. So Neodo's defeated. Yaiba defeats with Sayaka's help is able to defeat the octopus, and he gets the what he thinks is but it turns out to be the water orb. So he's not able to fly. So basically with that orb, they're still searching for the dragon orb. So yeah, I thought this was a very good episode. The fights were cool. The owl the owl scene was pretty funny. Yeah, the fight against the octopus and the Odo was awesome. So yeah, I really like this. Looking forward to the next one. Squid Game season 3 and full series. So in this season deals with you start with the aftermath of the unsuccessful rebellion. So the only survivors amongst the rebels are Gi-hoon, Hyunju, and let's see, and Daeho. And when Daeho learns what happened, when Gi-hoon learns about the magazines, he blames Daeho for what happened. And so basically, he like targets him. Gi-hoon is like chained to like the bed while all the votes are going on. So basically, he basically is forced to abstain. And so basically what happens during one of the games, Junhee, who's pregnant, she goes into labor, gives birth to a baby girl, but she injures her ankle, and during it, Hoonju's killed by Myung-ji Gi, who's the baby's father, and then Gyunja is basically stabs her son Yonsik. Basically, so that's a game attack. Basically, game attack, the taggers have to kill someone in order to pass, and the hires have to make it to an exit or survive in order to like basically move on to the next round. Yonsik, not having killed anyone, tries to target Junhee, but Gyunja stabs him to stop her from killing Yuen, the baby's mother. And I guess he's not fully dead yet, so that when the game ends, since he's not killing one, the guards shoot him and kill him. And then so I guess the baby's put since the baby's there, the baby's inputted as a player. What when the VIPs arrive? And then Gyunja tries to get everyone to quit in order to save the kid, but most of the players decide to keep the game going, and she hangs herself. So Ki-hoon helps Junhee, the newborn, go through, which is like some version of jump rope where the players must cross the bridge without being hit by the rope. And then so Gi-hoon takes the baby across. Then player 96 crosses, but starts shoving players to their deaths so that there's a bigger share, and then and basically Gi-hoon stops him and kills like 96. So Young-gi tries to help Junhee, who basically rejects him because he killed Hyunju. And then, as with time about to run off, once everyone else, like Junhee tells Gi-hoon that she trusts her baby's safety to him, and since she's due to her injury, she can't help, so she kills herself, jumps off the edge, and kills herself. Then the VIPs decide to give the baby the designation player 222. And then Gion Seok and then so one thing that so then there's the guard Noel who helps Gion Seok, the player she recognizes. She helps him escape, but then she has to go back, to erase his files. and all that, and then Junho arrives at the like is search for the island, and it's revealed that the captain is works for the like works for the people on the island, and then what happens is, and then basically a bunch of games start going on, and so then then basically so one thing that then we start having the meal with all the the whole meal with the last set of players for the final game, and then it's real that the players decide who gets eliminated. They don't know exactly what it is, so the player they want to kill Gihun and the baby. Myungi pretends to join them. Then Inho, the basically the guy who runs things, summons Gihun and offers a deal for Gihun to kill the players in exchange for him and the baby surviving. Then he reveals his mask, and Gihun's pissed off. And then so when Junho learns that Captain Park, the boat captain that had been taken up to the island, is one of the people working for the Squid Game group. Basically, Park, knowing he's exposed, basically kills what's on the boat, but Junho's there to kill him. And then Junho saves Gyeon Seok from the soldiers, and then basically so Gihun considers killing the other players but decides not to. And then and that also reminds Inho, the guy who runs things, of when he had done that, killed other players in their sleep. And so in the final game, you have either all the remaining players basically get on to like this final game. So there's three platforms. Basically, at least one player is to be eliminated each round. And I pushed off the edge, and whoever makes it to the end wins the Squid Games, and basically the money is divided up over who's left. So first round, this drug addict is eliminated in the second round. Basically, due to a bunch of infights, so Myungi helps Gi-hoon eliminate all the other players. So when everything happened, but then this one guy who was beaten up decides to kill himself before it started the next round, which leaves it to where only those like Gi-hoon, Myung-gi, and the baby are left. And basically, this whole bit, so Myung-gi threatens to wants to, and basically it's revealed that Myung-gi wants to kill the baby and Gi-hoon in order to take the prize for himself. He also he's very hesitant about killing the baby, but it sounds like he wants to do it. So Gi-hoon fights Myung-gi and kills him, then starts the next round. Then he tells the VIPs that players are humans, not animals, and then he throws himself off the edge, killing himself, and which makes the baby the winner. Then Inho, you know, influenced by Gi-hoon's sacrifice, saves the baby as the island says self-destruct because the Coast Guard is coming to investigate. And then the VIPs, Junho, Noel, they all escape the island. Inho, and then 6 months later, so basically a bunch of survivors, growing out, so then, Gion Seok reunites with his daughter, meets Noel. So Noel starts going to China, where to find her daughter, who she learns might actually be alive, and then say Bi Biok's brother Chil reunites with his mother. That's a character from like previous season. And so Woo Seok, who was with Junho, he was arrested trying to investigate Captain Park, and then he's released from prison. Decides to whatever hotel that Gi-hoon was using to hide the money. He plans to renovate it and I guess turn it into a hotel. Then Inho leaves Junhee's baby with Junho and the prize money. So Junho has a lot of money available to use. Then Inho then goes to Gi-hoon's daughter in LA to tell her about his death and gives her his player 456 jumpsuit and all the remaining prize money. Then when he leaves, Inho noses a recruiter in the United States playing Dotski Doc G with some homeless guy, which implies that the games are going on outside the U.S., which makes sense because there's been rumors of there's been reports of like David Fincher making a American Squid Game show, so this is meant to be a tease for that potentially happening. And it makes sense. The VIPs basically they're seem to be all from America, like they're all from like outside Korea, so it makes sense there are games outside of Korea. That's an international thing. You know, makes sense. So yeah, I like this season. I'd say it's like an 80%. And neither this or season two are as good as season one. Season one was just fantastic. Like neither of these are the level of season one, but this was a good season. You know, if I were to say what could have been better for season two and three to do, if they were going to do an alternate, like if it would have been a better alternative, maybe it would have been you start so you don't like have a bunch of repeat. You start the show. Like here's two things. One, you do it as an anthology with each. You have a different cast for each season. Like maybe do it in different countries. You know, and or what you do is in the first. You have a first episode. Let's say with season two, you have a first episode that showed the end of a Squid Games, where it shows the final game, the player winning, and then he leaves, saddened by everything, and then he's recruited by Gi-hoon to help stop the Squid Games. And something like that. Or you can use that basically make the whole thing about Gi-hoon hunting, like trying to stop the Squid Games. Basically finding past winners, uh, people involved who are doing well, trying to stop the Squid, form like a posse or something to go stop the Squid Games. That maybe is what you could have done. But for most, I like this. I like season two. I like season three. I thought this is a good show. It's a good show. So season one is the one that made the rounds, like became such a big hit. Seasons two and three went. I don't know. They comparatively they went a little under the radar. They didn't stay in the zeitgeist nearly as long as season one did. And I don't think neither season two were going to get like the Emmy like consideration that season one did because season one was just very good. But I'd say it's a good show. So like the whole show is pretty good. This season was good. So yeah, I recommend watching it. And that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.